The year is 1945. World War II has just ended. The world is rejoicing, and a sense of relief is palpable everywhere. A wave of relief washes over the globe. People are dancing in the streets, celebrating the newfound peace. But for Korea, it marks the beginning of a new struggle. The country is left in a state of uncertainty and turmoil. After decades of Japanese rule, Korea finds itself caught in the crosshairs of the emerging Cold War. The geopolitical landscape is shifting rapidly. The Soviet Union occupies the north, while the United States takes the south. This division is stark and immediate. This division along the 38th parallel was meant to be temporary. It was a line drawn in haste, with hopes for a quick resolution. The plan was to hold elections and reunify the country. There was a glimmer of hope that Korea could be whole again. However, tensions between the superpowers escalated, dashing hopes for a unified Korea. The ideological divide grew deeper and more entrenched. In 1948, two separate states emerged: the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in the north and the Republic of Korea in the south. This division would shape the future of the Korean peninsula for decades to come. The division of Korea was not just geographical, it was ideological. The North, under the leadership of Kim Il-sung, embraced communism. Kim established a totalitarian regime, with the Workers' Party of Korea holding absolute power. Individual liberties were suppressed, and the economy was centrally controlled. In stark contrast, South Korea, supported by the United States, pursued a democratic path. After a period of authoritarian rule, South Korea transitioned to a multi-party democracy in the late 1980s. It adopted a capitalist economic model, which fueled rapid industrialization and economic growth. The ideological divide between North and South Korea erupted into conflict in 1950. The North Korean army, backed by the Soviet Union and China, launched a surprise invasion of the South. The United States, along with UN forces, intervened in support of South Korea. The Korean War was a brutal conflict that lasted for 3 years. It resulted in millions of casualties and left the Korean peninsula devastated. While the fighting ended with an armistice agreement in 1953, a formal peace treaty was never signed. The two Koreas remained technically at war, separated by a heavily fortified, demilitarized zone. Two worlds apart. Economic and social divergence. In the decades following the Korean War, North and South Korea embarked on radically different paths. South Korea, with its market-oriented economy and embrace of globalization, transformed itself into an economic powerhouse. It became a global leader in technology, manufacturing, and popular culture. North Korea, on the other hand, remained isolated and underdeveloped. Its centrally planned economy stagnated, and its people faced chronic food shortages and human rights abuses. The North Korean government poured its resources into its military, including its nuclear weapons program, further isolating it from the international community. Bridging the divide. International relations and soft power. The relationship between North and South Korea has been marked by periods of tension and tentative diplomacy. The Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, stands as a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict and the fragile peace that exists between the two nations. South Korea has at times pursued a policy of engagement with the North, offering economic assistance and humanitarian aid. These efforts are aimed at easing tensions and building trust between the two Koreas. Cultural exchanges and joint sports events have also been organized in hopes of fostering reconciliation and mutual understanding. These events serve as a platform for people-to-people diplomacy. However, North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons and its unpredictable behavior have been major obstacles to improving relations. The international community remains wary of North Korea's intentions. The international community has imposed sanctions on North Korea in an effort to curb its nuclear ambitions. These sanctions have had significant economic impacts on the country, but their effectiveness remains a topic of debate. Despite these challenges, there have been moments of hope, such as the Inter-Korean summits held in the year 2000. These summits marked significant milestones in the efforts to achieve peace and reconciliation. And again in 2018. These meetings between leaders have provided a glimmer of hope for a more peaceful future on the Korean peninsula. A shared future? The question of reunification. The division of Korea remains one of the most enduring legacies of the Cold War. This separation has shaped the lives of millions, creating a complex web of political, social, and economic challenges that persist to this day. The two Koreas, though geographically close, are worlds apart in terms of their political systems, economic development, and social values. South Korea has become a thriving democracy with a robust economy, while North Korea remains isolated under an authoritarian regime. The possibility of reunification remains a distant hope, fraught with challenges. Political tensions and mutual distrust have only deepened over the decades, making any progress towards reunification slow and uncertain. The vast economic disparities, ideological differences, and the legacy of mistrust pose significant obstacles. South Korea's advanced economy contrasts sharply with the impoverished state of North Korea, and the ideological divide between democracy and authoritarianism is profound. However, the shared history, culture, and language of the Korean people offer a flicker of hope. These commonalities remind us that despite the division, there is a deep-rooted connection that binds the people of both Koreas together. Whether the two Koreas can overcome their differences and reunite remains to be seen. The journey towards reunification is complex and fraught with uncertainties, but it is not impossible. But the dream of a unified Korea continues to resonate, holding out the promise of a brighter future for all Koreans. This enduring hope fuels efforts on both sides to find common ground and envision a peaceful, united Korea. At the end, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.